Today we are going to be talking about circumference of circles. Circumference is the distance around the outside of the circle. Okay, so it is one dimensional. It is a length. If you took a string and wrapped it from one side of the circle all the way around, that would be the circumference. That's the distance that we're looking at there. Okay, and for circumference, the number pi is going to be involved because it's the ratio of two things, and that ratio equals pi. Okay, circumference equals your pi times your diameter, and that is because the ratio of that circumference divided by the diameter equals pi. Okay, if you had uh, a pop can and you took a string and you wrapped it around the outside of that pop can, and then you figured out what the diameter of that pop can was and you divided those two, you would get a number really close to 3.14 every single time. Okay. And you can try that on your own. You can find circles all around your house and measure them and divide those ratios all you want. I'm telling you, it's going to be really close to 3.14 if your measurements are accurate. Okay. So that is why we use the formula circumference equals pi times diameter when we are finding pi. Now, one thing to know here also, your diameter is the distance from one side of the circle all the way to the other through the center. Okay, diameter goes all the way across. Okay, one other measurement we're going to need to know about is radius. Okay, radius is from the center of the circle to the edge. So it is halfway across the circle. Okay, so the radius is half of the diameter. Okay, you could also write that as radius divided by 2 equals your diameter. Either way, you want to find that just so you know the relationship between those. Okay, so let's take a look here. Find the circumference of the bottle cap. Use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, well, if our formula is circumference equals pi times diameter, that means I'm going to circumference equals pi times, and the diameter is 3 here because that pink line goes all the way across. So I'm going to take 3 times pi, and it says round to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to use 3.14 instead of the pi button on my calculator. And I'm literally going to type in 3.14 times 3. And I'm rounded to the nearest hundredth, which is 2 decimal places. So my circumference is approximately equal to. When we use pi and we estimate, we use this approximately to as a more accurate statement of our answer. And it is 9 and 42 hundredths centimeters, okay, because we are working in centimeters here. So my circumference is 9.42 or 9 and 42 hundredths, okay? Let's try another one. Find the circumference of the cardboard cylinder. Use 3.14 for pi, round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so they give me 2.5 as my diameter because that pink line again goes all the way across. So circumference equals pi times 2.5 or 2.5 pi. So I'm taking 2.5 times 3.14 equals 7 and 85 hundredths. So my circumference is approximately equal to 7 and 85 hundredths inches. Okay, we're just multiplying here. When we see numbers and symbols next to each other, that is multiplication in algebra. You can try 3 and 4 on your own here. Now let's take a look at number 7. This one says find the circumference of the circle with a radius of 3.7. So the radius, remember, is half of the diameter. So if I want to find what the diameter is, so we said radius divided by diameter divided by 2 equals the radius, that means if I'm solving for diameter, I'm going to multiply by 2 on both sides. That means diameter is the radius times 2. So I'm going to take the radius, I'm going to multiply by 2. So 3.7 times 2, and that gives me 7.4, or 7 and 4 tenths is my diameter. Okay, now I'm not done. That is just to give me the numbers I need in order to find circumference. Remember, circumference is pi times the diameter. Okay, so if my diameter now is 7.4, I'm going to take pi times 7.4, and again, we're rounding, so I'm using 3.14 times 7.4. And we are going to get circumference is approximately 23.24, because we're rounding the nearest hundredth. I actually got 23.236, and that 6 rounded the 3 up. Okay, so it's approximately equal to 23 and 24 hundredths meters. Okay. So again, when we're given radius, we need to multiply it by 2 in order to find your diameter. So for this one, with a radius of 6.5, I'm going to multiply that by 2, and I'm going to get 13. So my diameter is 13 yards. Then I am going to do circumference circumference equals 13 times pi, so 3.14 times 13. And circumference is approximately equal to 40 and 82 hundredths yards. Okay. Now, if they ask you to find these in terms of pi, then this is your actual answer. Okay, because circumference is equal to 13 pi. It's approximately equal to this 40 and 82 hundredths. So again, if they ask for your answer in terms of pi, your circumference is actually 7 and 4 tenths pi for this one. Okay, so you can try these next few on your own there as well. Okay, now here are some where it gives you the circumference. So we'll use the same formula here. Circumference equals pi times the diameter, okay, or diameter times pi, either way. So circumference is 7 and 46 hundredths equals pi times the diameter. Well, now it says find the approximate diameter. Okay, so here I am going to get d by itself, which means I need to divide by pi here. Okay, so I take the circumference divided by pi in order to find the diameter. So 7.46 divided by 3.14, and I get approximately 2.38 is approximately equal to my diameter, and that's inches. So 2 and 38 hundredths inches is your diameter. Okay, let's do one more like that. A trampoline has a circumference of, so again, they give you the circumference equals pi times the diameter. So if I'm finding for diameter, I need to divide by pi in order to find it. So I have 37.68 divided by 3.14, and that is 12. So your diameter is approximately 12. Okay, there are several more like that you can try. And then this one has several steps. We're going to just do one like this, where it wants you to find the radius when they give you the circumference. Okay, so first thing we have to do is find the diameter, then we can find the radius from there. So 23.21 is my circumference, and then pi times diameter. Again, I'm going to divide by pi here in order to find my diameter. So 23.21 divided by 3.14 gives me 7.39 is approximately equal to the diameter. Now, the diameter is twice the radius, so I need to divide this by 2 in order to find the radius. Okay, so divided by 2, I'm going to get 3.695, which actually is going to round this to 3.70 feet is your approximately your radius. Okay, so lots of steps there. Make sure you don't forget one. I'll let you try that one on your own there if you'd like. Okay.